So now it is my honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Robert Seidman, a distinguished alumnus of the school who has forged an exceptional career in the pharmaceutical industry. His focus on issues that ensure the safe, affordable, and outcome-driven use of medications has had an impact on countless lives, embodying our mission here at the Mann School to advance health. As Vice President and Chief Pharmacy Officer for WellPoint, now Elevance Health, he managed pharmacy-related services and programs for millions of health plan members nationwide. How many of you take any drugs for allergies? Many? You can just go to a pharmacy and just buy a drug. So 30 years ago was not the same story. Despite your allergies, the running nose, your closed eyes, you really had to find somewhere, get a prescription, wait for a week, by then you are worst. And essentially you have to go approvals, insurance, all this stuff. In 1998, Dr. Seidman spearheaded WellPoint's effort in petitioning the FDA to convert 3 prescription allergy medications to over-the-counter status. His effort led to the successful conversion of Clarity into OTC, over-the-counter status, increasing patients' access to effective medications and reducing healthcare costs to consumers. We are really proud of Dr. Seidman's achievement and to really welcome him back to his alma mater. Please join me in welcoming our commencement speaker, Dr. Robert Seidman.
Wow, that's an amazing homecoming. Thank you. Thank you so much. I guess it's too late for me to back out now. Dean, thank you for the glowing introduction. I'm really not sure that I recognize that person, but thank you. And here goes. So good morning, graduates, faculty, families, and friends. And of course, my sincere congratulations to the USC Mann School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences class of 2025. I'm honored to be here, chosen to impart knowledge and lessons learned from a long career. While I am honored, I also want to keep it simple, and they've told me that I've got only 10 minutes. So I've got 10 minutes to rock your world before you get out of here. I want you all to remember this special day. As with most of my speeches, I'm going to start with a disclaimer. Everything that you hear from me today reflects my personal journey. Nothing that I say today should be construed as official school policy. Nothing. Most of what you'll hear are recollections of a career well spent, scars and all. So as one usually does at a commencement ceremony, I'm going to start with space aliens. Imagine sophisticated beings from another universe. They come to the United States in search of innovative healthcare solutions. They take one look around, and they would report to their supreme being, "There's nothing here." That is except for the great work that is happening at the USC Mann School of Pharmacy. We all have an individual life story that brings us to this fine institution. How did I get here? I ran away from home in New York, moved to California in 1978 to pursue my PharmD. After choosing USC Mann over UCSF, which was a career-defining decision, I graduated in 1982, and I followed up with a master's in public health from our unnamed crosstown rival in 1983. That's where my professional public health journey truly began. But my first real impact on public health came as a student here, right here at USC. In 1980, we, as in a group of PharmD students, we were filming public service announcements, encouraging patients to talk to their pharmacists about blood pressure, a revolutionary concept at the time. During a medical segment of the Today Show, their medical correspondent made a demeaning comment about pharmacists. He said, now understand this is 1980-ish, a pharmacist in a white coat is no closer to a healthcare professional than a law clerk at the Supreme Court is to a Supreme Court justice. Obviously, this did not sit well with me. After that segment aired, I saw that specific medical correspondent walking across the quad in 1985 Zonal. I stomped across the quad to approach him, and let's just say that that encounter helped me start my journey. My classmates and I were subsequently featured on a segment of the Today Show, highlighting the important role of pharmacists in healthcare. It was an important lesson to me in how to use media to amplify the important message that pharmacists are an integral part of the healthcare team. In that same vein, I also protested on campus when a chain pharmacy was recruiting, since this particular chain pharmacy did not want its pharmacists to talk to patients at that time. I was not always the school's favorite. As you will hear from me today, I have never been afraid to use my voice to advocate for the critically important role of pharmacists in healthcare. But like many, my path was not smooth. From 1983 to 1990, I wandered in the pharmaceutical wilderness. In today's world of instant gratification, it's hard to imagine spending 7 years trying to find a career home. Nobody knew what to do with a PharmD who also had an MPH. Ignorance was pervasive. Pharmacists were still often viewed as pill dispensers. Count, pour, lick, stick, repeat. The concept of pharmacists guiding drug therapy was in its infancy. There were not many real jobs for a smarty pants like me. However, I knew in my gut that the growing complexity of drug therapy required a team approach for maximum medical benefit. My first breakthrough came in May of 1990, when Blue Cross of California hired me as an itty-bitty clinical pharmacist. Over the next few years, I built clinical programs that became industry standards. I created reports on prescribing patterns, identified areas of narcotic abuse, and expanded these efforts to our HMOs, PPOs, state-sponsored programs, and federal programs. Back then, in our naivete, we were hopeful that brand name rebate contracts on expensive drugs would lower healthcare costs. But little did we know at that time that these supposed discounts would evolve into the insatiable rebate monster driving PBM profits today. Profits over patients. The black box PBM model must end. As Chief Pharmacy Officer, I had one overarching goal: empowering patients to make better healthcare decisions, increasing access, and lowering pharmaceutical costs. This role required managing clinical pharmacy programs, pharmacy and therapeutics committees, benefit design, and more. When people asked me what I did, I would look them in the eye and I would say that I'm a hitman for expensive, low-value drugs. It was a simple and memorable way to describe a mission of driving out inefficiencies and advocating for better, science-driven, and most importantly, outcomes-driven healthcare. Friends, acquaintances, and even frenemies just called me the hitman. Most of us find guidance in life from our parents, siblings, professors, and books. But sometimes, if you're a little weird, like me, you will find guidance in the strangest places. Some of you, or your parents, may recall that Airport was a 1970 movie starring Burt Lancaster and Dean Martin. I promise you, this is going somewhere, and you're all going to graduate. There's a whiteout blizzard in Chicago. Plane is snow stuck, and it's blocking the longest and necessary runway. Another plane needs to make an emergency landing on that specific runway. They assign their senior mechanic to try moving the stuck plane off of the runway. Spoiler alert, he frees the plane by throttling up the engines, defying the plane's engine and structural limit requirements. Shocked, his assistant explains that that solution is impossible. It's not in the manual. Our hero replies, "That's one good thing about this plane. It can do everything but read." Hopefully, you see my message. In your life, you are best served when you go off script and you write your own manual. In fact, some of my most impactful work and some of the most pivotal moments in our industry happened precisely because we wrote our own manuals and veered out of our lanes. And that is my message for today. Because sometimes the path to true innovation, to real progress, is not a straight line. It's a bold, unexpected swerve. Some of my most reported achievements include the prescription to OTC conversion of Claritin. At the time, thank you. At the time, second-generation antihistamines were prescription only, while older, sedating antihistamines were freely available over the counter. This created a frustrating paradox. Safer drugs required a prescription, while more dangerous drugs did not. Patients were burdened with unnecessary doctor visits, higher cost, and limited access to better, safer pharmaceutical care. For the first time in history, I think that I must thank direct-to-consumer advertising for suggesting a remedy to a real problem. I was watching TV when a prominent media personality appeared in a commercial. She said in the commercial that Claritin had changed her life. I mumbled something like that to myself, but since my antihistamine costs had gone up 600%, I was not as chipper. Then came the important disclosure: side effects similar to a sugar pill. That was my eureka moment. Drugs are classified as prescription for a reason. They can do both good and harm. That is why a learned intermediary, the prescriber, is required, and why the FDA has the authority to classify drugs as OTC through advisory panels and expert opinions. The FDA has the specific authority under FDCA to switch a drug from RX to OTC status. This had been done only once with metoprolol for asthma and was quickly reversed. So I used the citizen petition method as an interested person to initiate the switch. If a drug has side effects similar to a sugar pill, no learned intermediary is required. That was the essence of my petition to the FDA to convert Claritin from prescription to over-the-counter status. I was not alone in this pursuit. Claritin was already OTC in Canada and in the EU. So I wrote my letter to the FDA in 1998 requesting that they convert Claritin, Allegra, and Zyrtec to OTC status. And then I waited. Honestly, I think I forgot about the letter, and I moved on to try other solutions to tame the drug cost monster. And finally, after much resistance and colorful presentations by the innovative pharmaceutical companies, the FDA panel voted on May 11th, 2001, overwhelmingly in favor of the switch. That recommendation helped remove billions of dollars in inefficiencies from the healthcare system and made safer allergy relief more accessible to millions of people. But even success has a personal impact. I will never forget the Claritin rep who came up to me and angrily told me, "You ruined my life." Success, it seems, is sometimes bittersweet. Throughout my career, I've gotten out of my lane, I've pushed the envelope, and I've worked to ensure healthcare equality. I've learned many invaluable lessons and can talk about these forever. But you all need to graduate, so stop looking at your watches. You can reach out to me later, and I'll be happy to share story after story after story. I will leave you with a recent dream, though. I dreamed of attending a glamorous Hollywood party where everyone suddenly realized that I was a USC Mann pharmacy grad. They formed a circle around me, eager for my expert health advice. Everyone wanted to know what my opinion was on the Ozempic-like drugs. Were the GLPs good? Were they bad? What is it that I need to know? I told them all that the Ozempic class drugs were made from lizard spit. Chaos ensued. Guests dumped their Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro into Sharps containers. Stock market trading for the major pharmaceutical companies was halted. The guy who owns X roasted me for calling his favorite drug lizard spit. The fallout was dramatic. A temporary drop in drug costs, followed by skyrocketing costs to society from undertreated obesity, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes. The moral of this wild Hollywood story, it's the outcome that matters. Drugs, when used appropriately, are a bridge to better medical outcomes. It's not just the widget cost of the molecule. Pharmaceutical reimbursement should be based on medical outcomes, not widgets. It's a reminder to always play the long game and think about the bigger picture. Okay, enough pontificating. As I've hopefully illustrated, whether it was dealing with intimidating pharmaceutical reps, navigating controversies over new drugs, or challenging the black box widget-based PBM model, I've realized that staying in your lane often limits your potential. Society benefits when you think differently, when you challenge norms, when you write your own manual. As you step into the next chapter of your life, you enter a world that demands courage and creativity. The challenges that you will face in healthcare, whether in pharmacy, policy, patient care, are unprecedented in their complexity. Rising drug costs, disparities in access, misinformation, these are problems that won't be solved by following the same well-worn paths. It will take bold ideas, bolder actions, and yes, a willingness to go off script. Grads, let me leave you with this. Society benefits from you being different. Don't stay in your lane. 98% of life is just showing up. Mix in some fate, some creativity, you get a winning combination. Please go for the extra 2%. Play the long game. Drugs, when used appropriately, are a bridge to better outcomes. Focus on making the future of healthcare equitable, accessible, and sustainable. Write your own manual. Choose to be better. Choose to make the future yours. Together, let's fix this. Thank you, USC Mann, for allowing me to speak today, and thank you, Class of 2025. You remind us all that the future is bright, especially when you're willing to question the status quo. Congratulations, and remember, stay out of your lane and stay true to your purpose. Thank you.